The mission of Quilts of Valor will warm up your heart in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Cindy Hoover is the state coordinator for Quilts of Valor in Washington, and I believe she's with us on the phone right now. Hello, is this Cindy?
Hey, it is. How are you, Erica?
Oh, I'm just delighted to meet you. Welcome to Spirit 105.3. I am absolutely inspired by what you all do, and I want everybody to know, what is your mission?
Well, we wrap our beautiful patriotic quilts around the shoulders of veterans and active duty men and women who have been touched by war. It's a very healing time for many of the veterans. You know, we never can figure out who's getting more blessed, the people who make the quilts or the people who receive the quilts. It's really a beautiful ceremony. We feel so blessed to be able to do that.
You know, there's something about a quilt. It's like giving somebody a hug that they can hold on to.
It sure is.
Oh.
It's a big hug, and we have lots of hugs when we give those quilts. It's a wonderful time. We've met some wonderful veterans who are so pleased and happy to be honored.
Oh, that is wonderful. How did they react, Cindy? Would you paint that picture for us? You put the beautiful quilt on their shoulders, and what is the expression on their face like?
Sometimes there's tears. Sometimes there's signs of joy, smiles. It just varies with the individual, I think, as to how they feel at the time. And many of the men, particularly, who receive a quilt, sometimes they don't show any emotion at all at the time that they receive it, but then we receive these wonderful thank you notes, how much it meant to them. It's just a really rewarding time. We love what we do, for sure.
I can imagine. It just touches my heart so deeply. Of all the stories you've been part of, Cindy, what's your favorite one to tell? And I know that's hard.
Well, they're all our favorites, but I did have the honor of participating in a ceremony for a woman who was a wave during World War II, just this last Saturday at a Daughters of American Revolution meeting. She was 100 years old, and we were celebrating her birthday, and she was just the sweetest lady. It was just a wonderful time of honoring her service during that time when women were not allowed to go onto the front lines, and so they had to take jobs that replaced the men, so the men could go out and be on the front lines and fight the war. And just her story was so incredible. I don't think I'll ever forget it.
Oh, my goodness. That is wonderful. How did you become involved, Cindy?
Well, I've always been a sewer, and I started quilting probably about 20 years ago. And we moved into a neighborhood about 10 years ago, and one of the neighbor ladies, she found out I was a quilter, and she came down to see me, and she's become a dear, dear friend, one of my best friends. And she was a participant with Quilts of Valor, and she said, "Your husband is a Vietnam vet, Cindy. Why aren't you involved with this program?" And so I got hooked, and then just last year, they asked me to be the Washington State coordinator for the program, and so I'm really more deeply involved now. We are all volunteers, and so it's got the big title with no pay, and that's just fine. I'm very happy to do that.
Well, they certainly chose the right person. Is there a way to volunteer if somebody's listening and they'd like to get involved? Is that possible?
Oh, my goodness, yes. We have 20 groups in Washington State, most of which are here on the west side. They can get onto the Quilts of Valor national website, QOVF.org, and there's a little drop-down box that says, who's in my area? And they click on that and put in WA for Washington, and all of the Washington groups will come up. And they can find one that's close to them and then email with the group leader. Or they can email me, and I'd be happy to get them directed. We always need volunteers. We are totally volunteer, totally run on donations, and so any help we can get in any way is just so appreciated.
Oh, Cindy Hoover with Quilts of Valor in Washington. Thank you for what you do and for being with us today. I feel like I made a friend.
Oh, me too, Erica. Thank you so much for the time.